Let's start Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is now 1.5-2 in favor of the Chiefs. This is over in Germany. 50.5 is your total. And Adam, this total has not moved. I thought maybe people would look at this and there would be a position one way or the other. Like, oh my God, this is too low. This is going to be a shootout. Or, oh my God, this is too high. How could we ever do this in a Germany game? Instead, that's kind of been pretty stagnant. There was a little bit of movement on the Chiefs, then a little bit of movement on the Dolphins, but it's kind of stayed here too in this kind of 1.5 to 2.5-ish range as well. We know the travel stuff. The Dolphins went early. The Chiefs went later. If you guys want to bake that into your handicap, go ahead. From what I gather, the stadium over there is a retractable roof, so we don't have to worry about the weather with all of that. Adam, look, 6:30 a.m. for us. We're going to be getting up early. We're going to be watching this one. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly a game of the year candidate between Miami and Kansas City over in Germany. And no matter how I poke or prod this game, I end up coming out to the one same way that I want to go after it. So let me start with the narratives that I'm sure you're hearing out there this week. Mahomes at less than a field goal is a smash. Okay, yeah, and I can't necessarily argue with that because of what history has shown you. Miami can't beat anybody good. They've played 2 games against good teams. Granted, they have not looked fantastic in all 60 minutes of those games. I don't think they've been roundly awful. However, so my bet in this game actually is on the total, and I'm glad you mentioned that first, Matt. I only have a handful of actual hard plays as opposed to leans this week, and one of them is under in Miami and Kansas City. And this is the reason that I come to that. So if I look at the Miami offense and I want to take that idea of they're bad against good teams, right? Well, Kansas City's defense has been very good with this one caveat. They can be had a bit against the run. And that is when Miami's offense is going truly well, is when they're running the ball. And when you've seen in games like the one against Philadelphia, when the offense doesn't look good, it's because the opposing defense has been able to take away the run from the Miami Dolphins. Now, their offensive line is getting healthier this week. They might get Teron Armstead back. They are going to at least get 1, if not 2, starting linemen back on the offensive side. And Raheem Mostert is expected to be able to play. He was just given a full go designation a few minutes ago as we record this on Friday. Chiefs could be down another linebacker. They're already down Nick Bolton. They could be down Willie Gay. Now, on the other side of this, the Kansas City offense. What do we know about the Kansas City offense? It is that despite the fact that you see one performance against the Chargers this year in which Mahomes had 320 yards in the first half, you see otherwise that this team has essentially been a methodical, take what's in front of you offense all the way along. And in the second half, if Andy Reid has a lead, these scores do not run up. Kansas City has effectively become kind of like Philadelphia from last year, where they get a lead and they don't extend it. And so I come after it and say, all right, Mahomes at less than a field goal. Yeah, I can look at it and say this is right in teaser range for Miami. Yeah, all of those make sense. And frankly, I'm not going to give you a huge pushback on any of them. But no matter which way I stretched this out and pulled and prodded it, it all came back to under for me.
So I went about this a little bit different, Steven, and I'm interested to hear how you went about it. I played Miami minus 2.5 at plus 135. So I ended up here. Either the offense works against this defense and they win the game outright and probably win the game by at least a little bit of margin, or it doesn't work and they just get blown out. It's like I look at it in one of two ways, because what we've seen with Miami is they have an incredibly efficient offense in both aspects, from a passing aspect, from a rushing aspect. Yes, we have seen it get stifled a couple of different times whenever we are looking at some of these other high profile games that they played. But for the majority, I think that they're much better. And I think that this is where we're going to get all the good plays from McDaniel. I think that we're going to make this a kind of a statement type game. Listen, the Dolphins know what's at stake here. They know what's going on with this game. They know what this could potentially mean for them down the line. And I think that it's kind of one of two ways. The offense works. They get a lead. They're able to protect said lead. And then I can cover the 2.5. If not, doesn't work. Defense wins out. Kansas City's defense is legitimately a top 5 defense against anyone. And with that, hey, they probably lose this and lose this at margin. So it's like, if I was going to play Kansas City, I would almost play Kansas City at minus, 3.5, whatever you wanted to take to get you a big plus number. And it's kind of the same deal with Miami, which is the side that I'm taking, which is laying points with Miami here. I think that there is a game script that with how good and efficiently Miami runs the ball, that if they're able to get up 10 points in this game, and if you look at the one kind of bugaboo for the Chiefs defense, it is their run defense. And look, that's by design a lot of the times where they're like, we'll give you the less efficient way of moving the ball and we're going to protect the pass. But if Miami is up 2 scores, then that doesn't work for the Chiefs. And how good Miami is running the ball and how good McDaniel is at calling these run plays as well, I think that they could salt away a lead as well. And then Kansas City, whatever, they get a cheap touchdown, you're still winning by 3. So that's kind of how I see this game playing out. Love the chess match here of strength on strength and weakness on weakness and all the different things that are going on. And boy, we're going to see what these two teams are made of for sure.
All right, Matt, real trends with an S or fake trends with a Z? Mahomes is 19-6-1 as an underdog against the spread or when he's a favorite of less than a field goal.
Okay.
Real or fake trend? Do you care?
So you're just saying like he's good at toss-up games? I mean, like he's good at. I mean, like what was that? I mean, like what does that even? I mean, I don't even get. Cool, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, cool. Like whatever. You mean the best quarterback maybe of all time is good against like equal opponents? Shocker.
Right.
I mean, it's just like that doesn't really blow me away. I mean, that doesn't do anything for me.
All right. So I don't really care about trends, but I do care about getting an opportunity to buy Mahomes at less than a field goal, just on its face. I do think I just want to take a shot at that when the opportunity presents itself. Last time we saw it was in the Super Bowl. I would argue they probably should have lost that game if not for Jalen Hurts fumbling the ball. But for this matchup, that's what matters most. Like we always emphasize here, don't worry about last year. Don't worry about, over the course of his career. That stat just shows that Mahomes is a really good quarterback, right? But this matchup in particular, I think Adam's point about the Kansas City rush defense is well taken. In terms of rush EPA allowed, they are 31st in the NFL. Even if you take out some garbage time, they're still 31st. Now, in terms of rushing success rate, if you filter out the garbage time, they're actually 14th. So they've allowed some explosive runs, but down to down, they're still around league average. But this is obviously one of the more potent, dangerous rushing attacks they will face in the entire NFL. Is Miami's defense fixed now? They are still getting pressure at a very high above average rate without needing to blitz all that often. And Jalen Ramsey is back. Does it really matter against Kansas City's below average wide receivers when Mahomes is the quarterback? I'm not sure.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The word is they're going to put him on Kelsey.
Yep, that's where I was going with that.
So the word is they're going to put him on Kelsey because they don't care about the wide receivers. So they're basically going to say, hey, Mahomes, if you can beat us with Rashee Rice and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, then by all means, go ahead and do that. But the word is they're going to put him on Kelsey.
That is interesting. That makes me like the underlook here that Adam mentioned even more. We won't have weather conditions here. It's a retractable roof at Frankfurt Stadium. It is a brand new field that's never been used before. It's some type of hybrid turf that the NFL put in last week after the players and coaches had a lot of complaints about traction when they used the soccer field.
Moongrass is what I heard. Yes. Is that what you heard, Adam? Moongrass? Is that what they
yeah. My sources on the ground actually tell me lunar moongrass.
Oh yeah, okay, there. Yeah.
Wow, very, very.
It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid of the lunar moon, the lunar
of
version
the moon,
of the moon,
the moon itself. Yes. And also grass.
This is going to sound silly, but at least early in the game, see how the traction is for the players, because we've had issues like this in Arizona at times for both college and NFL games that have affected offenses and receivers being able to change direction. So just keep an eye on it. I'm going to buy the Chiefs here as basically a pick 'em, but I understand all the matchup situations here. I'm just going to back Mahomes, and if I lose, I'm okay with it. Adam?
Well, I'm going to offer Matt a little bit of pushback on the idea of Kansas City with a blowout, and I want to see what he thinks about this. Mm-hmm. I don't know that this Kansas City offense is a team that is capable of a blowout. I don't know that they have the I don't know if they have the ability against what is going to be a healthier Miami defense to do that. I do think the return of Jalen Ramsey means a lot because of the fact that it puts other pieces back in the right place. Like if you look at Xavier Howard's grades, and he is questionable to go this week, but if you look at Xavier Howard's grades, he needs to be against lesser receivers, which is where he's going to be this week if they go through the plan of Ramsey being on Kelsey. Jalen Phillips comes back last week, and even if you have that Philadelphia game in there in Miami's EPA stats over the last couple of weeks, they're still a league average defense when it comes to overall EPA against. So do you think that this Kansas City offense has the ability in that sort of tail script that you're talking about to be able to run it up on Miami?
Yeah, well, I guess run it up is like a little, I shouldn't have maybe said blowout or something, but I mean, is a 23-14 outcome, a 24-17 outcome within the range of possibilities? Like, I think it is, right? Yeah. Which, again, like I said, covers all alt numbers that you would ever play this up to, or whatever, if you were trying to get like plus money or something like that on Kansas City. Because, again, it's like Miami just doesn't get it going on the offensive side, and Kansas City doesn't really either, but it doesn't matter, right? It's kind of like whatever. They put up 20, they put up 23, they put up 20, even 21. I mean, a 21-14 game is, I think, well within the range of outcomes here. Again, if Miami can't get it going on the offensive side of things, which I tend to think they're going to. Like, and that's not to say this game's going to be a track meet or anything. That's not what I'm saying to like poo-poo y'all's underlooks. I'm saying like, I just think they will be able to move the ball, like with the combination of how efficient they are running, how efficient they are passing, and the play calling from McDaniel. I just have a hard time seeing them get completely stifled unless Tua is literally just under duress all day long. But so McDaniel's smart, right? He gets the ball out of his hand fast, and like he's going to call the plays that doesn't allow for that.
So let me ask you this, though. We got a total of 50 sitting on the board right now, right? Which means there's one realistic score at 27-24 that gets us over that number without one of these teams scoring 30. Do you think either of these teams is scoring 30 in this game? Because I don't. That's where my handicap comes from.
Right. No, I mean, not without any, like, the stuff we can't control, right?
I'll say this.
Right. Defensive strip sacks, special teams, whatever.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Yes.
I'll say this. Even though I bet the Chiefs, I would say the team more likely to score 30 is the Dolphins. I'll say that.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. No, for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, because if McDaniel has figured the defense out, or if he has called all the good plays, like we like to say sometimes, then for sure, I think that the most likely scenario.
It's just not how the Chiefs want to play. They're methodical now, and Mahomes.
Well, they're relying on the defense, which they've never had to do before. But like they're relying on the defense, which isn't a bad thing. But there's Andy Reid knows what he's got, dude. Like,
right?
He's not dumb. He's like, we're not winning shootouts with this team. Like he knows what he's got. So
I'll say one last thing. I'm not betting any props, but if Ramsey's going to blanket Kelsey and Mahomes is still the quarterback, you're probably going to get decent prices on some anytime touchdowns on the other guys in the Kansas City offense.
Well, and let's play that out one step farther. What do we know that Patrick Mahomes will do if his guys are covered?
Run.
He will take off and run. I think this could be a game. If you truly believe Kelsey might be taken away in this game, if you play that idea, then play the idea of Mahomes over rushing yards.
Awesome game. Awesome look. Interesting handicap. Can't wait to see this thing early in the morning.